Hello everyone, and my name is Bjarke Henningsen, and I am on the Central London's podcast telling you about 2020. Oh dear, yeah. 2020 was a rather complicated year. It's hard to decide if it was really a good or bad year. If you look at the overall topics, people will probably say it was a horrible year. Forest fires in Australia, Black Lives Matter, coronavirus, and Trump supporters all over the place. But if you really think about it, I would say that it was a pretty damn good year, because everyone sort of learned to tolerate more because everything that happened was shit. So the world should be a better place now, because at some point it just couldn't get worse. Some people were forced to stay inside, so the fights and just people fucking each other up actually stopped to a certain point. And that's a little thing to take into account, because we have a lot of that here in England. That's actually rather important. The coronavirus started out as a little thing in China. It was like a little kid which you never expected to grow up and become something, but ends up as the Prime Minister. Suddenly the virus had its take on all the world, and people were dying in the streets in some countries. Denmark and England handled it like almost all other countries. They didn't take it seriously at first, but now we're not allowed to breathe without getting soaked in hand sanitizer. And that's absolutely ludicrous. But Black Lives Matter became the shit, and everyone suddenly began treating black people like royal folks. It should be vice versa. I am not allowed to say that. I'm so sorry, but what I'm really trying to say is that people just began to treat black lives as if they were not normal people, and that's exactly what they are, because they are normal people and they deserve to be treated like them. But people just can't seem to treat them like anybody else. They have to treat them worse, or they have to treat them much better, and that's a problem, I think. And of course, the fires in Australia, they were everywhere. The news, Twitter, and even my mom's Tinder account. And she's actually kind of promoted herself with this worldwide tragedy. I have no idea if it worked, but Australia was in a crisis, and that was not because of her Tinder picture. The smoke from the trees were also deadly and killed even more wildlife than the fire itself. Australians just can't help themselves. First they kill their own coral reefs, and now their wildlife. I don't know what they are thinking down there, but their twats seem to recover, and we haven't heard from them from the fires in some months now, so taking everything into account, it should be going alright, I would say. That was everything from me. Thank you for listening, and I guess I will see you next week.